I don't understand where the men are. Like, where are the dads? You know, some teachers pushing sex values on your third grader. Why don't you go in there and thrash the teacher? Like, this is an agent of the government pushing someone else's values on your kid about sex. Like, where's the pushback?
Where's the pushback? He wants to know when you guys are gonna start going in there and taking care of business. Where are the men? So JD Vance, as he was there nodding his head in agreement, he did say this. I mean, I agree with you that there should be a ton of pushback. I'm the father of 3 young kids, and I would get enraged if I found out this was happening at my kid's school. One of the things we're learning, Tucker, is that this is being forced by some of these really radical teachers, and that they're hiding it from the parents. That's maybe the most pernicious part, right? So JD Vance would be mad, and he would go and attack teachers if they're being taught these things. There have been kids that have been getting taught things in our schools for a long time, except the other way around, excluding real history, excluding what's happening, and actually attacking certain folks for our history. Should those parents, because I'm one of them, should those parents go and start attacking teachers and administrators and principals over this? They'd call those folks thugs, is what they call them. Now, continue on, because Carlson, he repeated more of this violent rhetoric. The Daily Beast apparently agreed. The Fox News host yet again suggested that violence against educators is called for. Rather than apologize for its hosts and guests, Fox News is doubling down. On Monday morning, the conservative outlet published an article that claimed CNN, Washington Post, Vice, and more fret the Republicans are worried about child grooming, pedophilia. So now it's those other outlets that are also joining in on the pedophilia and the grooming, because anyone who wants to give folks rights and understand who they actually are, that's grooming. Now, more violence from conservatives. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to talk more about those violent, dirty gay folks, right? So she went into a rant about transgender athletes. She said this.
There is no country in the world I would rather live in as a woman, and yet Joe Biden wants to undo all of it. In the coming weeks, his Department of Education is expected to make changes to Title IX that will effectively end women's sports, guaranteeing that any biological male who wishes to compete against young girls will be allowed to do so. We cannot allow women's progress to be undone by bad actors wearing the shallow mask of diversity and inclusion. And we cannot be deterred by disingenuous claims of hate and intolerance. Join me in resisting this absurdity. Turn off the television when mentally disturbed men in wigs are invited to give their opinions about the news. Shun sporting events and disgust when grown men are allowed to call themselves women and steal titles from deserving competitors. We can only laugh in our Heavenly Father's face for so long, ridiculing his injunctions before his judgment, swift and terrible, comes for us all.
There was a lot in that little piece there. First off, you have to evoke God. Our Heavenly Father endorses our hatred. Fine, turn off the TV, don't watch those sporting events. All those things I'm perfectly fine with. That's actually what you should do. If you can't watch something, don't watch it. Now, of course, you have to make sure that what are we gonna do in response to this? It's up to us to make sure we don't sit back and let our country get destroyed. She went on to say really fast, Francesca, for many of us, it felt like the last day in women's history.
Oh my God.
History. Wow. Greene says that she feels disgust as men have taken over women's sports, robbing women and girls of their rightful accomplishments. And then she was, of course, talking about Leah Thomas's muscular frame towering over his female competitors, what she says, as she misgendered her. There's more of the violent rhetoric. I want to get your thoughts on these first couple, because there was a lot already there, Francesca.
It's just like, you know, the day that women's history ended was the day that Marjorie Taylor Greene got elected to Congress, all right? That is when so-called women's history ended, and you wanna be, what a great country to be a woman in. Hey, a woman in Texas was arrested for allegedly having an abortion. We don't know if she had an abortion, which, by the way, is still legal. She might have just miscarried, but we don't know. And then she was reported to the police by hospital workers. It's a great country to be a woman in.